Hello everyone, whether my voice is audible, please comment in the chat box. And can you see my presentation also? Ganesh, can you hear me? Okay. So, in the last lecture, we have covered some of the points related to value engineering and value analysis. So, in that, we have discussed that what are the uses of value engineering and when to apply this particular value engineering. Also, we have discussed the unnecessary cost, why unnecessary cost arises in any of the product. Then we have discussed the various steps uh, uh, in a value analysis. Okay, so in that, the first one is a blast, then second one is a create, and the third one is a refine. Okay, so these three steps we had discussed, and in that, in the blast step, we come to know that there is a we need to select the product, and the collect we have to collect the relevant information related to that, and we have to define the functions of that particular product or the component which we have selected. Then in the creating step, uh, need to create the different alternatives for the materials, for the processes, for the quality checkups, and the next step in a create is nothing but critically examine that particular alternatives, and the last one is the refine. And in refine step, we have to develop the best alternative, and the last procedure of refine is nothing but implementation of that particular alternative. Okay, so this we have discussed in the last lecture, and today's lecture we are going to start with the phases of value analysis. Okay, phases of value analysis, because this value analysis is an organized process to evaluate and to reduce the cost of the product or the cost of the component. Okay, so for that purpose there should be a different stages. Okay, we have discussed that there is a blast stage, there is a create stage, and there is a refine stage. Okay, so while implementing this value analysis in any of the product, we have to follow the phases. Okay, so first phase is orientation phase, the second phase is information phase, the third phase is a functions phase, then the fourth phase is a creative phase, then fifth phase is a evaluation phase, then sixth phase is a development phase, seventh phase is a presentation phase, and eighth phase is a implementation and follow-up phase. Okay, so here in the eighth stage, we can say that there are two stages we have combined together, that is nothing but implementation, and the last one is the follow-up phase. So what is mean by orientation? Okay, so first is nothing but orientation is nothing but what, we have to select a proper project. Okay, by applying the experience, the knowledge, or uh, by considering the evaluation criteria, or for selecting any of the product for the evaluation analysis. Okay, so that is nothing but what, selection of the project, and in that we need to prioritize, or priority sequencing should be provided while doing the value analysis. Then the plan we have to establish that in which way we have to carry out the value analysis. Then specification of that particular product you need to carry out or need to find out. 1 minute. So the first phase is nothing but the orientation. So in orientation phase, we need to follow some of the steps. Okay, in orientation phase, we need to follow some of the phases, some of the steps. That is nothing but identify the issues. Okay, that is nothing but what. First of all, we have to select the product, or we have to select the component for which we are going to apply the value analysis, and on that basis, the the products, if you consider that in one of the plant we have selected 10 products on which we are going to do the value analysis, and in that we have to provide the prioritize. Okay, so which product we need to perform the value analysis first, which product we need to perform the value analysis second. So in this manner priorities should be provided. Okay, obviously while providing the priorities, it should be taken into consideration that the functional function to its cost ratio. Okay, if the value of that particular product is lesser as compared to its function. Okay, okay, its function, then that products will not be selected. Okay, because it's already satisfying the customer. Okay, and if the value is more as compared to its functions, then such a products will be selected for the analysis purpose. Okay, we know that the formula or the definition value is the ratio of function to its cost. Okay, so if the cost will be more, then its function, if the product cost will be more as compared to its functionality, then the value of that particular product or the component will be less. And if the functionality of the product or the utility of the product or the worthiness of the product is more than its cost, then the value of the product or that particular component will be very high, or it will be worthy for the customer, and customers will be satisfied with that particular product. Okay, so while selecting, so this value concept will be important. And first of all, we need to find out the scopes and objective in that particular product. What are the different scopes are there available to reduce the price of the product or the cost of the product, and to increase the the valuation of the product, or by increasing the functionality and reducing the cost. What are different kinds of scopes are available in that particular product, and their objectives. Okay, and their objectives. Then the next one is the evaluation. Okay, evaluation part. Different evaluation factors are there. That is nothing but design factor, the quality of the product factor, then the different heads, we can say that, the materials specifications. So these are the evaluation factor, so that we can provide or we can increase the quality of a product, and high quality product should be available for the worker, so for the customer. So this is the requirement. Okay, for that purpose different evaluations criteria need to be analyzed to constrain the analysis. Then the collection of data, the data should be collected appropriately according to the functions of a product. Okay, according to the functions of a product. So data collected if any product is having 10 components. Okay, so different 10 components, materials, different 10 component manufacturing process, different 10 components material specification. Okay, different 10 components tool requirement. Okay, tooling requirement. So in this manner detailed data will be collected, and the last one is prepare for value study. So this data will be available for the value study. This data will be available for the value study. Okay, getting everyone? What is meant by orientation phase? What is meant by orientation phase? So please let me know whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation. Once again, please let me know whether my voice is audible and my can you see my presentation? Okay, 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 okay. So that then the second phase is nothing but the information phase. Okay, uh, in that there are three different steps. Okay, the first one is locate, identify, and arrange. Okay, there are three different phase the stages under this particular information. The data related to that particular product will be arranged according to the requirement from different sources. Okay, so design data will be different one, production data will be different one, purchase data will be different one, quality data will be different one. So these are the different sources, and the particular product data or the particular component data is disintegrated in the industry or in the plant. Okay, and to perform the value analysis. Okay, so all such a data will be collected. So that is nothing but location of a location of that particular data. Okay, what are the different location? Design department is one of the location, then quality department is another location, then production department is another location, then purchase department is another location. Okay, then sales department is another location. So these are the different locations in the industries, and need to find out the data related to that particular product at different location. So locating data is the first step in an information phase. Then identifying the facts. Okay, what are the different facts? Okay, if there is a fall in a sale during past few months, uh, past few weeks, so that is nothing but fact. Okay, if there is any defect in the product while manufacturing, this is the fact. Okay, then the rise of the raw material cost, this is the fact in a purchase department. Okay, so identify such a facts and arrange that fact according to the required format. That is nothing but arrange. Okay, the third step in an information phase is arrange. Okay, arranging that data according to required format, according to the required format. So information phase, further familiarizing of the product by the team. uh, all team members participate in determining the true needs of the product. Areas of high cost or low worth are identified. Areas of high cost and low worth are identified. Means what? According to functionality. So if functions required more cost, then and it is available in a cheaper format or a cheaper cost, then it is worthiness. Okay, the product is worthy for the customer, but this proportion is not appropriate. Okay, functions does not having or we can say that uh, the product functions are not uh, used to the customer, is not used to the market, and the cost of that functions uh, which company is providing to the customer is higher one. So that product is not worthy for the customer. So areas of high cost or low worth are identified in the information phase. The areas of high cost or low worth are identified in a information phase. Getting everyone? What is meant by information phase? What is meant by information phase? Okay, so the next one is the phase number 3, that is function phase. Okay, so function analysis phase. Okay, this is also called as a functional analysis phase. So what is meant by functional analysis phase? Okay, obviously we need to analyze the functions of a product, we need to analyze the functions of each and every component, and determine whether the true value or it is having the sufficient valuation for that particular function. So that is nothing but what the functional analysis phase. Okay, so in functional analysis phase, um, uh, we need to prepare different components list. Okay, then need to prepare a verb now description of a functions. Okay, so now here the example is provided that we have to boil the water by using kettle. Okay, by using kettle. So function, what is verb boil, and what is now water is a common noun. Okay, so boil water, so boil is a verb. Okay, and it is a function. कशाचं फंक्शन आहे, केटलचं फंक्शन आहे. So that is the function of a kettle. So in such a manner, we have to prepare verb noun description of a function. Okay, verb noun description of a function. Okay, getting everyone how to find out the functions of a product, how to find out the functions of a component. Okay, now there is a handle, kettle handle. Okay, so uh, handling the kettle. Okay, handling the kettle, so handling is the function of that particular handle. Okay, handling is the function of that particular handle. So in this manner we have to find out the uh, uh, functions of a different components of a particular product. Okay, त्या प्रोडक्ट मध्ये जे जे कॉम्पोनंट असतील त्या प्रत्येक कॉम्पोनंटचं फंक्शन्स डिटरमाइन करणं म्हणजेच काय, functional analysis phase. So for that purpose, verb noun description of a functions are very useful, and that should be prepared in this particular functional analysis phase. Okay, so in this particular functional analysis phase there are different steps. First of all, we need to prepare the list of a component. Okay, we need to prepare the list of a components or parts of that particular product. Then we have to determine verb noun description of a functions. We have to determine the verb noun description of the functions. Then we have to establish the cost function proportion. Okay, we have to establish the cost function proportion, and the next is nothing but the estimate. We have to estimate whether it is worthy for worthy for that particular cost, that particular function is worthy for that particular cost or not. Okay, so estimate is nothing but what, worth of each basic function, worth of each basic function. And the last one is nothing but determine. Okay, so determine is nothing but what, value improvement potential. Okay, what is the value improvement potential for that particular component. Okay, on the basis of a functionality, on the basis of a functionality. Okay, okay, so getting what is meant by functional analysis phase. Is there any question, any doubt? You can unmute and you can ask whether you understood this kettle example. You can comment in the chat box also. Okay, so first is nothing but what, orientation phase. Orientation phase. Okay, in that orientation phase we have to select the component, we have to define the scope and objectives, then different evaluation factors we need to apply for the evaluation criteria. Then team we have to develop. Okay, then data we have to collect, and the value study report we need to prepare. Then information phase, we have to locate the data at different locations in the plant or in the industries, identify different facts, and um, arrange that particular data in a required format. That is nothing but information phase. The third phase is nothing but functional analysis phase, or the functional phase. In that, we have to prepare the list of different component. Then we have to identify the functions of that component, and according to the verb noun description of the function, the list will be prepared. Then um, the cost of each function, uh, or the basic functions will be collected or determined. And next is uh, estimate the worthiness of that particular functions, and whether there is a scope for the improvement. That is nothing but determination. So all these steps will be followed in a functional analysis phase. Then the next step is important step, will be considered under this phases of value analysis, as this required a lot of intelligence or a different kind of attitude. That is nothing but a creative attitude. Okay. And this phase pays more for the workers which are working under this particular sector or under this particular department. Okay. So why? Because here your creative thinking is important. Here your creative thinking is important. Okay. Because the problem solving, okay, and the phase, creative phase, is nothing but find out the solution for the desired problem. Okay, find out the solutions for desired problems. Okay. So for that purpose, you should have a sufficient knowledge, and you should have some creative thinking about the problem problem solving methodologies. Okay. So the creative phase, so under this creative phase there are two steps, that is nothing but conduct and generate. Okay. So first of all, the problem solving, different kinds of methodologies or different perspectives in one team. If you say there are 5 members, 6 members, then there are different perspective to solve that specific problem. Okay. So that we have to consider that there are different alternatives to solve the problem. Okay. Then such alternatives we need to list out, and we need to apply that alternatives or analyze that alternatives to find out the solution. Okay. To find out the solution, that is nothing but conduct step. Then generate. Okay. Next one is a generate. Now by applying such a creative ideas or the creative methodologies to solve the problem, we will come to know the different perspectives, or we can say that the different angles of a, or different thought processes or different ideas to solve that particular problem. Okay. So sometimes the perspective of a two people or the creative ideas of a two people can be merged together and form one idea. Okay. Or we can say that uh, there should be requirement that we have to rethink on the problem, and we have to rearrange the conduction phase once again. Okay. So there are, we can say that the second step is nothing but the generate. Okay. So generate is nothing but generate the ideas or merge the ideas and find out the different ways to solve the problems or to find out the solution for the problems. Okay. So the these steps required a certain amount of a creative thinking by the team. A technique that is useful for this type of analysis is brainstorming. Okay. So this stage is concerned with the development of a alternative. Okay. So just we have discussed that there are different perspectives to look any problem for different humankinds. And if such a brainstorming people come together and think on one of the problems. So there should be a requirement of a teamwork, and the different ideologies come out of the people, and uh, so from that particular ideologies we can say that different perspectives come out of that peoples, and that will be considered as a different alternatives to solve that particular problems. So in creative step, find out the ideas or find out the different alternatives, conduct that particular alternatives, generate some different ideas by rearranging the alternatives or by combining the alternatives. Okay, so that is nothing but what? Creative phase. Then the next one is nothing but evaluation phase. Okay, so evaluation phase, what will be done? So there are some of the garbage ideas will be there. Okay, so if I have given any idea and that will not be that much fruitful, then I should not say that my idea should be applicable to that particular product. Okay, uh, because it is a garbage idea. Okay, or it will not provide the solution for the problem. Okay, so for that purpose we have to list out the ideas, and uh, uh, and we have to develop some functionality about that particular ideas. Okay, then need to evaluate that ideas. Next is need to evaluate that ideas. So some criteria will be decided for the evaluation purpose. While conducting an experiment also, we are providing some kind of environment to that instrument, or we are assuming uh, something, and then only we are conducting the experiments. Okay, so in such a manner, for the restriction purpose, for the restriction purpose we have to decide some criteria. Now, in the last year, we have discussed that the thermal conductivity of diamond is very high. Okay, so whether it is possible to use the diamond where we required higher thermal conductivity, obviously not. Okay, so that is the restriction of a cost, restriction of a material, restriction of a quality. These all restriction we have to consider. Then there are some design restrictions are also there, so that also need to consider. And then we have to evaluate the ideas. Okay, then we have to evaluate the ideas. Next, after evaluation, one have to provide the ranking to that ideas. Okay, or that particular alternatives, we can say that alternatives, different kinds of ideas, we have converted that ideas into alternatives to solve the problem. Okay, so ranking will be provided to different ideas or different alternatives according to the cost reduction potential. Okay, according to the cost reduction procedure. Okay, so one idea applied, their cost analysis will be done, and second idea applied, then their cost reduction will be cost analysis will be done, and according to that, which idea will get the lesser cost will be provided the first rank. Okay, will be provided to the first rank, whereas which idea uh, uh, required and the more cost will provided the last rank, and in such a manner the first rank idea will be selected. Okay, so in the evaluation phase, first of all, we have to shortlist the creative ideas. Then we have to develop the functionality of different ideas. Then we have to evaluate these ideas according to the prefixed criteria. Then we have to provide the ranking to the ideas, and the last one is nothing but we have to select one of the idea. Okay, so in evaluation phase, in this phase of the workshop, the value analysis team judges the ideas developed during the creative phase. Value analysis team will judge the ideas developed during the creative phase. The VA team ranks the ideas. Ideas found to be irrelevant or non-worthy of the additional studies are uh, disregarded. Those ideas that represent the greatest potential for cost saving and improvements are selected for developments. Are selected for developments. Okay, so in wording they are I have provided over here. In step by step we can say that the shortlist, develop, evaluate, rank and select. These are the steps under this particular phase. Steps under this particular phase number 5, that is evaluation phase. Then the next one is the development phase. Okay, so once we have selected the ideas for the development purpose. Okay, so list price or list cost will be selected for the development purpose. Now once we have selected, need to analyze the technical requirement of that idea. Okay, technical requirement, as you say that there are some design restrictions, there are some production restrictions, means whatever the operations required to develop that particular product, whether that operations we can carry out in our in-house plant, or we have to bout out that particular operations, or we have to manufacture that particular component from outside the industry. Then in that case, how much the cost for that particular product or for that particular uh, operation. So this will be nothing but what, finding out the technical requirement of the product. Okay, technical requirement of the product. So first one is nothing but technical requirement is design. Okay, whether according to the design it will fulfill all the requirement. If yes, then according to the production process it will fulfill all the requirement. If yes, then according to the quality it will fulfill all the requirement. If yes, then only the solution will be provided for the economic feasibility. Okay, for the economic feasibility, and then the necessary test will be conducted on that particular products, and uh, um, then the one or two alternatives are selected for the recommendation purpose. Okay, one or two alternatives will be selected for the recommendation process or the recommendation step. So that is the next step, we call it as a recommendation stage. So development phase includes analysis, confirmation, arrange and select. Okay, development stage includes analysis, confirmation, then arrange and select. Okay, analysis of alternative for technical requirement. Okay, then confirmation is that is nothing but whether it is economic feasible, uh, or economic feasibility of the product is confirmed. Then the tests, necessary tests were conducted or will be conducted in the product, and after that the one or two alternatives will be recommended for the further process. Okay, so next, that is the development phase. The team develop the selected ideas into alternatives or proposals with a sufficient level of documentation to allow decision makers to determine if the alternative should be implemented. Okay, so in a wording it is simple one, but we need to follow the steps in this particular development phase. That is nothing but analysis of the alternatives according to the technical requirement, then confirmation uh, on a economical physical feasibility, then arranging the necessary test, and finally the select one and more alternatives for the recommendation. Okay, so next seventh step is a recommendation phase or a presentation phase. Okay, so whatever the recommended ideas or recommended alternatives, so the complete report will be prepared uh, on that uh, on that particular ideas, and that report will be presented in front of decision making authority. The next is a defined plan for the action will be submitted. Okay, then the plan of action will be submitted, how we are going to reduce the cost of the product, or how we are going to increase the sale of product the valuation of the product. The approval will be taken from the decision maker. Okay, so nothing but presentation phase or the validation phase. This particular report the value analyst need to reveal that report in front of decision authority, then submit action plan to apply techniques and the third is nothing but get approval from the decision making authority and implementation. Next one is implementation. So presentation phase. The presentation phase is actually presenting the best alternative or alternatives to those who have the authority to implement the proposed solution that are acceptable. That are acceptable. Getting everyone? What is meant by presentation phase? Then the last one is the implementation phase. Okay. So implementation phase first, in that we have discussed just now. In a recommendation phase, approval will be taken from decision making authority, and then the next one is the uh, implementation. Okay, the next one is the implementation of a plan, implementation of a techniques, or implementation of alternatives to that particular product uh, or the services. Okay, product or services. So uh, during that particular implementation phase, we first, or the most important requirement is nothing but what, we have to train the workers, or uh, uh, the auditor or the conductor of that particular plan need to train the workers or train the employees according to the plan. Okay, and uh, it will be requirement, or it is the requirement of industry. If you have any plan, then that plan should be percolated at the end of the worker. Okay, or we can say that at the uh, end of the hierarchy of that particular system or that particular industry. Okay, so the awareness will be created in the workers and in the employees according to the changes, and the workers and the employees will be trained according to the action plan, and then this techniques, whatever, or the new product, or we can say that after value analysis, the products will be launched. Okay, the products will be launched. So in implementation stage, uh, first of all, we need to develop the implementation plan. Okay, or action plan. Then we have to execute that plan or monitor that particular plan to complete. Okay, so this is the implementation stage, and the last one is nothing but the follow-up phase. Okay, here only we have merged that two stages, implementation and follow, but these two stages are different. One, implementation is nothing but creating the plan, applying that particular plan and monitor the plan to completion. Okay, the last one is nothing but the follow-up phase. So follow-up is nothing but what, checking whether we are achieving the timeline or our goals according to the timeline or not, and correct taking the corrective step according to the timeline or the decisions to match up our goals. Okay, that is nothing but what, follow. So in follow phase, first is nothing but audit. So audit, that is the economical audit or financial audit, will be conducted to find out the savings and compare the result with the original expectation. Okay, so actual, so this is the controlling phase. Follow up is the controlling phase. So in controlling phase, what we are doing, we are checking the parameters, and we are comparing that with the actual one. The actuals are compared with the planned one. Okay. Then the next one is the submit. So then next, we have to uh, prepare the cost saving reports, and need to represent that reports to the uh, management. Then evaluate whether these techniques are effective, and effective or not, that is nothing but finding out the effectiveness of the techniques. And uh, recommendation, the last one is the recommendation. If there is any there is any requirement of change in functionality, or if there is any requirement of a correction, then that will be recommended uh, to the authority. And if there is any value engineering problems, then that will be once again recommended to the value engineers. And uh, then according to that particular problems, all the phases once again followed to solve that particular problem. Okay, whatever the 9 steps we have discussed, that all 9 steps will be followed to solve that particular problem. Getting everyone? समझते सगळ्यांना? So these 9 steps or 9 phases are important one. Okay. So please note down. If you have any problem, you can ask, you can unmute and you can ask. So once again, I want to ask you whether my voice is audible, and can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So please note down phases of value analysis. 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 The modern version has the following 8 steps. 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 First one, orientation. Orientation. Okay. So we'll write directly. Orientation. In that, write down orientation phase. Orientation phase. In that, identify issues. Identify issues. Identify issues. Second one, prioritize issues. Prioritize issues. Prioritize issues. Third one, draft scopes and objectives. Drafts scopes and objective. Draft scope and objective. Next one, establish evaluation factors. Establish evaluation factor. Establish evaluation factors. Next one, determine study team. Determine study team. Determine study team. Determine study team. Next one, prepare for value study. Prepare for value study. Prepare for value study. So this is the orientation phase. Next one, second, information phase. Second one, information phase. So in that, write down further familiarization of the project. further familiarization of the project by the team by the team. All team members participate. All team members participates. All team members participate in determine the true needs of the project. In determine the true needs of the project. True needs of the project. True needs of the project. Next one, areas of high cost or low worth are identified. Areas of high cost or low worth are identified. Areas of high cost or low worth are identified. So under this information phase, the steps are under this information phase, the steps are locate, identify, arrange. The first one is locate, second one is identify, and third one is arrange. Locate, identify, and the third one is arrange. Okay, locate, identify, and third one is arrange. Then the third one is functional analysis phase. Functional analysis phase. Functional analysis phase. Functional analysis phase. In that, write down functional analysis. Functional analysis. Functional analysis outlines outlines functional analysis outlines the basic function of a product. The basic function of the product using a verb and a noun. Using a verb and a noun, such as in single inverted comma boil water, as in the case of our kettle, as in the case of our kettle. What is the function? In double inverted comma, boil, separate, water separate, boil is the verb and water is noun. Okay. So steps followed in a functional phase. Steps followed in a functional phase are: first one, list. First one, list. In that, write down list the component or parts. List dash the components or parts. Second one, prepare. Dash verb noun description of functions. Verb noun description of functions. Third one, establish dash cost of basic functions. Cost of basic functions. Then estimate dash worth of each basic function. estimate worth of each basic functions, and the last one, determine dash value improvement potential, determine dash value improvement potentials. These are the steps need to follow under functional phase or functional analysis phase. Functional, functional analysis phase. One minute. Okay. Functional analysis phase. Okay. The next one is creative phase. Next one is a creative phase or a speculation phase. Creative or speculation phase. Fourth one is creative or speculation phase. In that, write down this step requires a certain amount of this step requires a certain amount of this step requires a certain amount of creative thinking creative thinking by the team creative thinking by the team creative thinking by the team, full stop. A technique that is useful, a technique that is useful, a technique that is useful for this type of analysis, for this type of analysis is brainstorming, is brainstorming, is brainstorming, full stop. This stage is concerned, this stage is concerned with developing alternatives. The stage is concerned with developing alternative. Steps included in creative phase are steps included in creative phase are first one, conduct dash creative problem solving. Conduct creative problem solving. And second one, first one is conduct creative problem solving. Conduct creative problem solving. Second one, generate. Second one, in dash generate dash ideas ideas comma combine and oblique or rearrange them ideas comma combine combine and oblique or rearrange them rearrange them rearrange them to provide different ways to provide different ways to provide different ways to accomplish accomplish basic functions accomplish basic functions. So fourth one is a creative phase. Okay, so fifth one, evaluation phase evaluation phase In that, write down, in this phase of the workshop, in this phase of the workshop, in this phase of the workshop, comma, the value analysis team, in this phase of the workshop, the value analysis team judges, judges, judges the ideas developed, the ideas developed during the creative phase, during the creative phase. So I would like to mention that in most of the IT industries, the mechanical engineering work is nothing but value analysis. Okay, so value engineering and value analysis. In my IT sector, these vacancies are mostly fulfilled by the mechanical engineers, and TCS is also doing the same thing. In TCS also, there are most of the mechanical engineers are hired in this posting, value analysis or value engineering, or a system engineering also. Okay, or system engineering also. So this knowledge will be useful when you are going to attend any of the IT sector industry interview on the basis of a mechanical engineering knowledge. Okay, so these phases and steps are very much useful, and it will definitely add up some value if you interpret the knowledge related to this in your interviews. Okay, so in this phase of the workshop, the value analysis team, the value analysis team judges the ideas developed developed during the creative phase, during the creative phase, full stop. The value analysis team, the value analysis team ranks the ideas, ranks the ideas, ranks the ideas in that, write down, the ideas found to be irrelevant, the ideas found to be irrelevant or not worthy of additional study, not worthy of additional study, are disregarded, are disregarded. Those ideas, those ideas, those ideas that represent, that represent, those ideas that represent the greatest potential, the greatest potential for cost saving, for cost savings are for cost savings and improvements are selected, and improvements are selected for development, for development. Okay, for development, full stop. Sixth phase is development phase, sixth phase is development phase, sixth phase is development phase. The team develops, the team develops the selected ideas, the selected ideas, the selected ideas into alternatives. The team develops the selected ideas into alternatives or proposals, or proposals with a sufficient level of, with a sufficient level of documentation, documentation to allow decision makers, to allow decision makers to determine, to determine if the alternative if the alternative should be implemented. Okay, so that is the 6th number phase, development phase. Then 7th number, presentation phase presentation phase also known as recommendation phase, presentation or recommendation phase. The presentation phase, the presentation phase is actually presenting, the presentation phase is actually presenting the best alternative, the best alternative or alternatives, one or more. Okay, so the best alternative or alternatives to those who have who have the authority, to implement the proposed solution, the proposed solution that are acceptable, so next one, 8 number, implementation phase. Okay, follow up is the 9th number phase. You can give 9 number phase to the follow up. So implementation phase, in that, develop and implementation plan. Okay, develop an implementation plan. Second one, execute the plan, execute the plan. And third one, monitor the plan. Third one, monitor the plan. Okay, so these are the steps under the implementation phase. And the last one is follow up phase. So under follow up phase, ninth one is a follow up phase. Under follow, there are 4 steps: audit, second one submit, third one evaluate, and fourth one recommended. So what is meant by audit? Audit, in front of audit you can write savings and compare results with original expectation. Audit of savings and compare results with original expectation. Then second one submit, cost saving achievement report, to the management, cost saving achievement reports to the management. Third one evaluate, second one cost saving achievement reports to the management. In front of submit you can write cost saving achievement reports to the management. So third one evaluate dash the effectiveness, and the last one is recommend, dash change oblique corrective actions, recommend in the change oblique corrective actions and awards for contributors, to value engineering proposals, and awards to the for the contributors to value engineering proposals. Okay, so here we will stop. uh, Remaining parts we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, we'll stop here. Just put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave. Pratap, Junaid, Arbaz. If you have put up your roll numbers in the chat box, then you can leave.